Hey cat lovers, this is Petra and you're watching the Cat Crazy channel. Today I have a very special guest, Kirk Iwasaki, who is the owner of SoySand by Petkins, and we'll be talking about tofu litter today.
Yep.
Okay, so hi Kirk.
Hi, how's it going, Petra?
Very good. Why don't you introduce yourself and let us know about your new product and which was already mentioned on moderncat.com. So this is great. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. So we created a new type of tofu litter a few months ago, and tofu litter has actually been out for a minute. It was invented in Asia back in the 90s and has been around and been very popular there. However, all the other tofu litters that are out there are all pellet shaped, which has some, kind of cons when it comes to the American market. People are having a bit of trouble when they go to scoop it, and we could talk about that later. But we identified that was probably one of the issues with tofu litter not really making its way out here. And so we looked into it with a manufacturer on how we can improve that and make it a little bit more cat friendly and user friendly. And we were able to create a version of tofu litter that actually looks and feels just like traditional cat litter. So it's crushed
Yes.
into like smaller grains.
Right. And I like that. I mean, I have I can actually show that right now. I have some right here,
Yep,
So this is just like play litter. It's just lighter. And you sent me the unscented version. You also have it scented. I love unscented. I don't, because I think my cats just don't like anything that has too much of a smell in it. So we like unscented. So my question is, as a founder myself, I always like to know the story. Why did you get into this?
Sure. So it's actually a little bit of a long story, but I'll try to keep it short. I'm a product designer and developer by trade. So I spent 15 years as a product designer and product engineer, I guess you could say. And I've always kind of been interested in the way things work. We just got a kitten, and he is very much curious about what's going on. So Sammy,
how cute, Sammy.
Yeah. But he's all over the place. Sorry. But so always looking for, interesting opportunities and kind of always thinking about how to improve things. And my cousin, who's actually a ICU veterinarian down at a hospital in San Diego, said, "Hey, Kirk, you should..." Ouch, he just grabbed my back. Sorry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Hey, we're a cat channel. This is all good.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere you're gonna show here. But no, he said, "Hey, Kirk, if you're ever looking into something, you should try to look into tofu cat litter. It's kind of new to the American market. It hasn't really hit big, and I feel like there's some ways that it can be improved. But take a look." And so we had a cat, not this one. We had another one, Skittles, and we were just kind of using normal cat litter. But when he started talking to me about what tofu cat litter was, and I started doing a little bit of research, I got more and more intrigued. And so I brought some in, actually just on Amazon, and started messing with it. And yeah, it actually is very good. It's super absorbent. It's low dust. It's flushable, biodegradable, all the good things, and I really liked it for a lot of reasons, but I didn't like how hard it was to use, how to scoop, and it did take a little bit of time for my cat to get used to using it. And so as I researched that, I also found out that it didn't work in the litter robot and a few other things, and all of those issues kind of pointed to the shape of it. And to me, that's when my kind of product developer brain kicked in. I'm like, I think I know how to fix this. And so I was able to get in touch with a tofu litter manufacturer in Asia and work with them to create a version of it that was denser and able to crack like rocks as opposed to becoming like a powder. And that allowed us to break those pellets into smaller chunks and still maintain a solid piece, right? So it is truly more like sand in that sense. And, brought in a bunch, did a lot of testing with shelters, rescues, friends, myself. And we found that it actually was performing very, very well as a litter. Now, fast forward a few months, we did a Kickstarter that was successful. We did CatCon in Pasadena. We did the Long Beach Town Pet Fair recently. And it's all gotten a lot of really good reception and feedback. And so that's kind of how we came to be more of like an official brand, I guess, trying to get our name out there and have more people using SoySand.
That's fantastic. And I think you told me that you actually at CatCon also connected with Litter Robot, and and you tried it there, and they said it works.
Yep. So that's correct. I have a high school friend whose sister works at Whisker, and she connects me with their product team, and I gave them a bag, and I had a litter robot, and I tested it at home. They tested it in their facilities, and we are actually approved as the only tofu litter to work with the litter robots. If you go into their app and you scroll, you'll actually see SoySand as an option you can select for your litter preference.
That's fantastic. So okay, so that is, and you said it is flushable. So that means you can actually put that in the toilet and flush it.
Right. So there are different regulations in different areas based on water purification and treatment. And so you do have to check your, region for the local laws. For example, in California, you're not supposed to flush pet waste because of the toxoplasmosis or toxoplasma and all of those issues with filtering. But as far as like a material that is water soluble and will break down in water, be safe for your pipe, so to speak, totally fine.
As opposed to clay litter, because you clean everything.
Right. Or other eco-friendly litters that don't break down as easily in water.
Okay, that's really cool. Okay,
yeah.
So biodegradable, I love that. So this is all fantastic. So you also said low tracking. That's another one. Is that like, does it compare to other litters?
So when you're comparing things like tracking and dust compared to clay, for example, it is definitely going to be low dust. It's definitely going to be less tracking because the grains are larger, right? And the one thing I noticed when I was using the normal tofu litter, the pellet-shaped ones, is they also claimed low tracking or no tracking. But what I was finding is when those pieces got lodged into the foot or stuck on the fur, it would actually track further away. And so it's kind of one of those things where I don't know that I could say I've ever experienced a litter that has zero tracking. Just like naturally, they're going to kick it out. It's going to stick on the fur, right? But like the idea is to get it so it's as minimally as least impactful as possible to your normal routine, right? Nobody likes to step on litter all over their house. So if you can keep it kind of confined to around the litter box, and at the least possible amount, I feel like is a win. Versus with the pellet litters that are claiming to be no tracking, right? I seriously found some like in my bed, in my my kitchen, and that's just a little bit too far away from where the litter box should be, and that to me was actually almost worse than having more of a mess just outside the litter box. And so depending on your cat, depending on the fur size or fur length, and their behavior, some is going to come out, but it's definitely going to be less than clay because it's larger granules and it's going to stay within the litter box area and not get so lodged and tracked out further like the larger pellets would.
Right, because like the larger ones, if they get into the paws, they get stuck there.
Exactly.
They actually get out of it. Okay, so so just a couple more questions for you. Okay, so one is like, how does your tofu litter, SoySand, compare with other litters in price-wise? Where are you?
So it really comes down to less about the cost per bag, but how long that bag was going to last you, right? And so we talked about a couple things earlier. One was the how easy it is to use, and then also I wanted to kind of circle back on how well it absorbs and how well it clumps, right? And so being tofu, it's kind of like a sponge, and so it'll absorb liquid, urine as very well and keep a nice tight clump. And because of the shape, it sifts really easily. And I could actually show you this right here. So this is my screen.
Yeah, put it in front of your face, baby. Then
okay.
Yeah. No.
No. All right. Well, I don't know if you can see it. So
no, I can see it.
So this is normal tofu litter. It's pellet shaped, right? Yeah. This is ours, like we saw earlier. It's crushed, right? And then on top here, you'll see that I created two of the same type of sifter grids. And when you go to sift it through, right, you'll see how much easier SoySand kind of falls through, whereas the other tofu litter isn't falling at all. Which means that when you go to scoop it, it's going to last a lot longer because you're not removing unused litter or you're not shaking dirty litter back into what should be a clean box.
Right.
So the combination of it clumping really tightly and sifting really easily means that litter is going to last you a lot longer because you're not going to have to replace and refill your litter box. When you're buying a bag of litter, the majority of the litter is going to go into refilling your litter box, right? And so I would say that if you have one cat and one litter box and you buy the 12-pound set online on our store for $35, it's going to last you up to 6 weeks. And that's going to stretch a lot longer than 1 or 2 bags of clay litter, for example. And so,
sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
No, and so it depends on, obviously how many cats you have, what your cleaning routines are, how many boxes you have. But, at the end of the day, if you were going to look at how much you spent on litter over the course of a month or a year, it's going to be the same, if not less, depending on your habits.
Right. What I wanted to say is this is really easy to carry.
Yes.
And because I love the design, that's the product designer in you, I guess, So this is awesome. So you like when you do this for a month, you get like 2 of those. This is like, what is this, a 6 pound? This is 6 pounds.
So we sell them in 6-pound bags and 19.4-pound bags. So just under 20 pounds. The one you had, this is the 6-pound bag. And so you can buy 2 of these online as like our 12-pound set. And the idea is you use one bag to fill up your litter box, and then you have your other bag to top off, right? Because you should be washing your litter box, at least every month or so anyway, right? It's just a matter of how often you're going to actually do it. And so every time you order that 12 pounds, you have one bag to fill and then the other bag to top off. And again, if you have one cat, one box, like that should last you up to 6 weeks.
Awesome. Okay, that's great. All right. Yeah, so that is fantastic. One more question.
Yeah.
What is going on in the future? What are your plans? What do you want to do in the future?
Well, we want to obviously get SoySand to a level where it's, more of a commonly used and recognized litter, right? Tofu litter, I think, has a lot of potential in this space. It definitely can outperform a lot of the other litters out there. And so, the more people that can use tofu litter and then find the difference between SoySand and other tofu litters, we hope that it'll help grow our customer base and have more people using it throughout the country. Currently, we are only selling it to the US and Hawaii. And we want to be able to expand that. I got a lot of requests during my Kickstarter and other things about, hey, when are you coming to Australia, or when are you coming to Europe? And it's like, well, we gotta build a solid customer base here and get that going. So I'm hoping in the next 2 years or so we'll be able to expand our offering beyond the US. And then beyond that, I think it comes to manufacturing. Like, we're currently manufactured in Asia. We definitely want to bring that to the US at some point. But we have to obviously prove the market and make sure that it's a viable business plan before we can do that. But that is definitely one of our goals. And obviously, as we develop and grow, we want to do things like giving back to the community and stuff like that. So always looking for opportunities to help improve and expand and continue to grow our brand from where it is today.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kirk. This was fantastic.
Thank you, Petra. A lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I'm sure that many people will really enjoy this and check it out. So thank you for your time today, and I hope to hear from you again soon with new products and new things you want to do. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Kirk. Thanks,
you.
Bye-bye.
Stay cat crazy.